Hey, welcome back. So for this video, we are going to create this coffee cup. So it's going to be pretty cool. We actually combined several revolves, a sweep to create this object. All right, so this is what our final product looks like. So let's go ahead and get started. For step one, we're changing our units to millimeters. And for our mass, we're going to be using kilograms. So let's go ahead and go to workspace units. Make sure this is millimeters. And we have kilograms for our self-check right at the end. We are creating the sketch on the front plane. Let's make sure we orient on the front. So click sketch, select the front. Notice in step two, we're creating four lines with this one here, and then an arc. We're centering our object right at the origin, and we're drawing to the top right. So here's our first line. Make sure it's vertical. Another line going to the right. We're going to do another line going to the right down here, and we go diagonally. Let's go ahead and create a 3-point arc. Let's make sure this arc is tangent to the bottom line. So notice I click tangent, and I selected my arc and my bottom line. Looks a little awkward. Let's elongate this one, and that looks a little bit like what's going on in the image. Oh, and we're also needing this construction line going up here. Go ahead and add that. I click my top point, and I go up, hit escape. We'll need that for the revolution. Now we're going to add these 5 dimensions. So this arc has a value of 90. Dimension for the line in the bottom. It's fairly unique. We click this point, this bottom line, or the bottom point, and we go to the right. It's just the height from this point to the bottom line of the origin. And now the distance from this point, we need to click this point here, and this construction line, go to the right to add this dimension of 75. Doing the same for the top portion here. We select the construction line. We go to the left of the construction line. I put a value of 125. Now our height, so go ahead and select the line. Go to the left, and we put a value of 100. Show our constraints. This is tangent, and then everything else is coincidental, so we're good to go. Step 4, we're using the offset tool. So let's go ahead and select the offset. And we're selecting these few lines right here, and this bottom line here, and we're going in the opposite direction. And this is going to have a value of 6 millimeters. So let's go ahead and click out of offset, select coincidence. We click this point, and we connect that point to our top horizontal line. And then we're making sure that this line is coincidental to this vertical line. So we're good. So now we're renaming this sketch. This is now called main sketch. For step 6, we're going to revolve our sketch to create this 3-dimensional structure. Let's go ahead and click revolve. Select main sketch. Our revolve axis will be this construction line. And notice we are on solid and new, and we want it to be full. Solid, new, full. We're good to go. Let's go ahead and hit that check mark. For step 7, we're renaming our part 1 to read coffee cup. Step 8, we're going to create a sketch on the front plane. So go ahead and hit sketch, select the front plane. Let's move ourselves. So at this point, we're creating an arc with a construction line and an actual line. So I'm going to start off with the construction line. Found that one to be the easiest. It is placed inside the cup. One end is inside the cup, the other end is outside the cup. So our arc. Don't worry about the size. We'll fix this in a moment. And then we want a line going to the inside. All right, so let's add a tangent relationship. So click tangent, and we're making this arc tangent to this line. Let's go ahead and show our constraints. We're also going to put this, the center point of the arc, at the center of the line. And that's pretty much that for now. Step 10, let's go ahead and hide the coffee cup. So click here to remove the view of the coffee cup. We didn't delete it, we're just removing it for now. and let's show our main sketch. So we want to make this point here coincidental to the inner arc. So let's go ahead and click coincidental, select the arc. And we're also going to do the same with this point, making it coincidental to the inner arc as well, or the inner line that's diagonal. So at this point, we're adding dimensions. So the arc has a value of 20. Distance from this point to this bottom line has a value of 85. Distance from this bottom point to our bottom line has a value of 25. We're good to go. We're going to call this path. So let's go ahead and rename this sketch 1 as path. This is actually the path that we'll be using to sweep and create our teacup handle or coffee cup handle. For step 12, we're creating a new plane. So select plane. And for this specific plane, we want to make sure that this reads curve point. So select curve point for entities. Then we're going to click on this point here where our two lines meet. And then this path. We're going to hit the check mark now. For step 13, we're creating this ellipse, and it is centered right at this point here. So create a new sketch, select plane 1. This is the plane that is at a diagonal. So we're going to center our ellipse right at this point here, and we want it to have a horizontal constraint. The width of this ellipse will have a value of 14. And it will have a height of 10. Notice that we created it right here at this point. The sketch is now going to be renamed profile. Let's go ahead and view our teacup. And there it is. For step 15, we're going to use a sweep feature to create this handle. So go ahead and click on sweep. We're going to select solid, add. The face that we are selecting is this profile, and the path itself will be this path up here. And the merge scope will be to the coffee cup. So let's go ahead and view the coffee cup now. So notice we have a rendering of what the handle will look like. That looks good. Let's go ahead and hit the check mark. For step 16, we want to create this cavity here using the revolve feature. So let's go ahead and click on revolve. We're going to select solid, remove. Let's go ahead and hide the cup for now. Let's select this interface here for faces and sketches. Revolve axis will be this construction line here. And at this point, let's go ahead and view our coffee cup. For merge scope, let's go ahead and click coffee cup itself. And now we're good to go. Hit the check mark. For step 17, we're using the fillet tool to round out the outer edge of the bottom cup and the bottom edge of the inner cup as well. So go ahead and click on fillet. Click this inner line here. And let's also click the bottom. And in this situation, we want to change the radius to a value of 12. Notice we have some curvature going on there, and hit the check mark. For step 18, we're using the fillet tool as well to round out the top edge. So keep somebody from getting cut while they're drinking. And right here we have an error. We need to reduce this radius to a value of 2, as shown here. And go ahead and hit the check mark again. For step 19, we're changing the material to be porcelain. So right click on coffee cup, assign material, and write out porcelain. For step 20, we're using mask properties to check our work. So go ahead and click on mask properties, select the coffee cup, and it should read the value that you need to move on with the self-check. Thanks for watching. Check out the following videos.